Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Monday in the Riv after a nice weekend, kind of nice weekend. And, well, I got my water bill. Let's start off with that. And it went up 28%. I thought it was 23 or 24, but 28%. So Paulie's gouging again, or as what did Kamala call it? She didn't call it gouging. What did she? Gauging, because she couldn't read from the teleprompter. She said price gauging. Well, they're price gauging. So you have another fall riverite that's an unhappy camper. Yeah, I'm not happy about the water bill because I don't use that much water. I mean, it's like it's just ridiculous. I mean, just keep spending, and we don't care.
Well, and as I said in the Weekend Flush, people are publishing their bills online in social media.
Yeah.
Because they're so disgusted. And some people ask, I don't understand how the water went up so high. I said, where the hell have you been? I said it, where the hell have you been? This came up before the city council back in May and June. They paid $10,000 or more for two guys to come in and explain why they had to raise the rates.
How to gauge us. That's right. How to gouge.
That's right.
They came in and said, charge the idiots more money.
Right.
Charge them more money. Make more money on them. Make it a revenue stream. And that's what they did. This isn't a water bill, people. They are basically making a massive profit. They're not just delivering a resource to you. This is our water. Imagine how much we'd pay if we were buying water from another community. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's our water. We sell our water to other communities, probably at a better price than we're paying. And this is the problem. These people never stop spending. Let's make this clear. The problem lies in who you have in our government. You got Sean Kadim saying, well, you want more money? You sure you don't want to charge more? I'm good with that. Of course you're good at that. You're making $200,000. You don't care. You're not skipping meals. You're not living paycheck to paycheck. You're not having to, run your credit card debt up just to pay your regular bills. No. You just keep spending the money. And this is the problem. You're right, CJ. You talked about it. You talked about it in a Weekend Flush, and this is the thing. That's why. But people don't pay attention till they get the bill. They don't. They get go along their way, trying to make a living, trying to do something, and then they get hit with a bill and they go, oh, what the hell's going on? Why am I paying this much for water? Why did it jump up like this? Because they never stop spending money. You put these yo-yos in office and leave them there for decades. They all got money. They don't care.
And some are still trying to get more.
That's right. Well, remember, all these little extras, it's not even coming out of their budget. That little stipend, which is a pretty good stipend, it's almost the average income, median income for a per capita in Fall River pays their bills. That little nice once or twice a month gig at the government center pays the bills, pays all these little bumps. They don't get that. So it doesn't affect them. They're insulated from this stuff. And again, it's like the federal government. Look at them. They never stop spending money. Waste upon billions, trillions of dollars. The bullet train in California, $500 billion, and it still doesn't, the track's not even laid yet.
Sounds like the MBTA.
$7 billion or something like that for charging stations, and now there's only like 5 that operate. That's over that's like, 100. That's almost like 100 billion a station, more than that. I mean, it's just nuts. But they don't care. They just keep spending your money. They build bridges to nowhere, and it is what it is. So there's only one way. To get it. Excuse me. There's something on my other computer screen here. I have to run over there and see what the hell it.
That's okay. And the thing about the water bill, which I think people need to understand, is that they've already planned for the next 7 years the water rate increases. 5% a year for the next 7 years, whether or not we need it. That's the key. Whether or not we need it. That's what gives us the idea that it's a revenue stream. And it's a tough revenue stream. Because water is necessary. Water isn't something you can live without. You can live with dirty clothes. You can live with an unwashed body. But you can't live without water. You need water. You need water. And, according to Linda, we have the best water in the city. Our city water is the best around. We should sell our water. We should bottle our water and sell it. It's so good. Yeah, well, explain something to me, Linda. How come the city council has a water dispenser in the hallway behind the council chamber for the city council's use only? Why are we paying for that water? Are we paying more for that water? If our water is so good, why are we not just using city water? Put your money where your mouth is. You said it's good water. You want to sell it? Fine. Put it in 5-gallon bottles and put them in over at Government Center, and let's see how long that lasts. Let's see how long that lasts. It's a shame. It truly is a shame.
No, it is, CJ. I apologize. I had to go over. I was on the line this morning with one of my with Capital One, and I had some stuff up on there on the page. I had to close the page because it was telling me that they were gonna sign me out. I'm not gonna be messing with my stuff. But listen, taxes. You remember this thing I read a few times, Charlie Reese's final column about the government, 545 versus 300 million people by Charlie Reese. Well, I'm going to show everybody how bad this is, because after he wrote that great article about why these people are just rapists, and they pretend that they're against each other, but they're working together, both Democrats. If you wonder why, if they're against inflation, why do we have inflation and high taxes? It's because they don't care. It doesn't affect them. But he closed with these 2 pages, which quickly read, because this shows it. It said 540 versus 300 million people tax list. This might be funny if it weren't so true. Be sure to read all the way to the end. So I'll do it quickly. Taxes land, taxes bed, tax the table at which he's fed, taxes tractor, taxes mule, teach him taxes are the rule. I like that set one. Taxes work, taxes pay, he works for peanuts anyway. Taxes cow, taxes goat, taxes pants, taxes coat, taxes ties, taxes shirt, taxes work, taxes dirt, taxes tobacco, taxes drink, tax him if he tries to think. Taxes cigars, taxes beer. If he cries, taxes tears. Taxes car, taxes gas. Find other ways to tax his ass. Tax all he has, then let him know that you won't be done until there is no dough. And when he screams and hollers, then tax him some more. Tax him till he's good and sore. This list is very long. Then tax his coffin, tax his grave, tax the sod in which he's laid. Put these words upon his tomb. Tax his drovey to my doom. When he's gone, do not relax. It's time to apply the inheritance tax. These are all taxes now that I'm reading. Inheritance tax, accounts receivable tax, building permit tax, CDL license tax, cigarette tax, corporate income tax, dog license tax, excise tax, federal income tax, federal unemployment tax, fishing license tax, food license tax, fuel permit tax, gasoline tax, gross receipts tax, hunting license tax, inheritance tax, inventory tax, IRS interest, liquor tax, luxury tax, marriage license tax, Medicare tax, personal property tax, real estate tax, service charge tax, social, road usage tax, recreational vehicle tax, sales tax, school tax, state income tax, state unemployment tax, federal telephone excise tax, telephone federal universal service fee tax, telephone federal state and local surcharges, telephone minimum usage surcharge, telephone reoccurring and non-reoccurring charges, telephone and state local tax, telephone usage charge tax, utility tax, vehicle license registration tax, vehicle tax, sales tax, watercraft registration tax, well permit tax, workers' compensation tax. Still think this is funny? Not one of these taxes existed 100 years ago. And our nation was the most prosperous in the world. We had absolutely no national debt and had the largest middle class in the world. And mom stayed home to raise the kids. What in the heck happened? Can you spell politicians? I hope this goes around to the United States at least 540 times. You can help it get there. Go ahead. Be an American. Send this to everyone. Reese was a brilliant man. You read this, it boggles your mind. But it goes right back into what you said in your weekend flush. Nobody pays attention, CJ, till they get bit in the ass. So, you're muted.
I'm sorry. It's always the way it is. Until they get bit in the ass, they don't pay attention. And that's the sad part about it. They look at what came out to vote. 7,089 people. 7,089 people. And that wasn't what came out to vote because some people mailed their ballots in. Some people mailed their ballots in. That's it. 7 out of 55,000 people. 7,000. 7,000. That shows you how concerned they are about their water bill, about their sewer bill, about their property taxes. Okay? Everyone says, oh, all of these properties, all of these market rate units that are being developed, all of these properties that are being redeveloped that were just sitting there languishing. Yeah, but they're all being developed with our money. Our money. Because every time one of those scumbags give out a tip or a tie, City Council, are you listening? Every time one of those scumbags approve a tip or a tie, they're passing that money on to the taxpayer, which means it gets passed on to the renters, which means you got to pay higher rent. That's the source of your high rent. The dictator, Paul Coogan. Now, granted, we do have a housing shortage. And supply and demand does play a little bit of a role there. But when you look back 3 years, 2 years, and you can get a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment for $800, and now they want $3,000, and they want 3 months income up front, and they want a first, a last, and a security. Plus, they want you to pay, which, by the way, is illegal, a credit check and a criminal background check. Those checks have got to be paid for by the property owner, unless it's a realtor. Unless it's a real estate broker or a real estate salesperson, they're the only ones that can charge that fee. Because again, they're the powers that be. They're the elite. They're the special people. They're the special people.
The short bus.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, you're right, CJ. But listen, look, we know nobody can afford this. And look, Charlie Reese was right. They've created a national crisis. I mean, look, Fall Rivers always leads the way in ridiculousness, but the rest of the country is caught up because you put these idiots in charge, and look what they've done in 3.5 years, or a little over 3 years. The rehab who can't afford it. No, yeah, that's what you are. But Jeff, you know, it's nice that somebody says it. The politicians, when they're looking for your vote, told you how concerned they are for you, but you're nothing but riffraff.
That's what Paul calls them.
They don't want you around. Just like Martha's Vineyard. We love illegals till they show up. Then they're out of here in 24 hours. Obama's front lawn, you could have had all those illegals living there for a year. Build a few tents up there. They could have lived on Obama's property. Obama loves it. You know, Obama deported more people than Trump did. He doesn't like illegals. Not in his backyard. They're hypocrites. That's what they are. They're just hypocrites. We love them. They get trafficked. Fentanyl's killing 300,000 Americans a year. I mean, they've literally wrecked this country. Absolutely destroyed it. Like Charlie Reese said, 150 years ago, this country had no taxes. And we were the richest country in the world. This is what government does to you. Government became a career field. You could become filthy rich. See, in that era, when there were no taxes, these people made their money the right way. They had businesses, hard work, whatever. Then we had George Washington be the president, and he left. They wanted him to be king. He said, no, this is a temporary gig. I become a public servant, then I go back into the private sector. No more. That's what ruined the country. Politics is now a career field. You really think Nancy Pelosi could be a multi-millionaire if she wasn't in politics? She'd have a hard time flipping burgers at McDonald's. Half of these people are so dumb that you can't believe some of the statements that they make. Like Guam's going to sink if they park all the vehicles on one side of the island. A congressman actually said that. And then you can go on for a week with what Hirono said, and she's a senator. I mean, White House didn't know what a boofer was, and he's from Rhode Island. Who in Massachusetts or Rhode Island doesn't know what a boofer is? And he said it on national TV. He's a bonehead. Now he's got commercials. I'm saving Social Security. I'm doing something. You're doing nothing. You've been here forever. You know, and I love it when he says, oh, I go to them and they burn my ear off. See, that's a little Freudian slip. Like, I really don't want to listen to you, but I gotta play the role because I'm a politician. You know, we are all riffraff.
Yeah,
we are what they said in the 1850s.
Right. You know what's interesting is what White House says in his commercials about, I fought to limit the cost of insulin. He didn't do that. Trump did that.
Yeah.
Trump did that. Okay? Trump wanted to negotiate Medicare. It was the Democrats that didn't want to do that. When they passed Obamacare, the Democrats wouldn't give the law the right to negotiate Medicare prices for drugs. Now they've got that, and the drug companies aren't happy. So what did they do? They chose all the drugs, which are generics, dirt cheap drugs, and they put those under price control. That makes perfect sense. Put the cheap drugs under price control. Let's not make those other drugs, under price control. Let's do that.
Yeah, there you go again, CJ. Talking facts again. Stop
Yeah.
it, Leah. You're hurting my ears.
I
Talking
know.
facts. Remember, Trump. Everything Trump did was bad.
That's right.
Everything
Well,
the
the
Democrats
Democrats
did
it was good.
Everything is good. Even though they wrecked the country, they've been in charge of places like, look what they did to San Francisco. Look what they did to Baltimore. Look what they're doing in Massachusetts. Look what they're doing that's why everybody's running like their butts are on fire out of these states. New York, Massachusetts. It was 1,100 a month in Massachusetts we're leaving. If they can afford to leave, they're leaving this place because what do? Let the veterans live in the street. Let people with mental illness live in the street and give all our money to the illegals. The hell with it. We vote against priority for veterans, but we give illegals everything for free. And we say, oh, this is a good thing. No, it's not. I saw one guy that had a you could tell he was he was an attorney because he called himself Esquire. I was reading it on. He says, oh, and he had a picture of a immigrant family or something, and then he had a picture of a Nazi, which of course they love to make these dramatic kind of things. So he said, who would you rather have living next to you? A nice, quiet, illegal immigrant family or a Nazi? Well, I don't care who lives next to me, but I want him to be legal and I want him to pay taxes. The Nazi probably pays taxes. I don't know, but I don't care. Illegal. There was the operative word. Illegal means they shouldn't be here. It's amazing how Democrats always forget about law. They're like Paul. The law only counts when it works for me. Otherwise, we ignore it. Biden, I don't care what the Supreme Court told me to do. I don't care what the law says. I'm just going to operate this country by fiat. I'll just sign an executive order and just do whatever the hell I want to do. And then they blame everybody else, like Sheldon. I took credit. You're right. Sheldon took credit for everything that they didn't do. They forgot. Now they're redoing Kamala. Now all of a sudden she now is in favor of the wall. She's in favor of fracking. She's in favor of everything that Trump was in favor of. And they want you to pretend that she never existed. She was born like when she got the nomination, a new Kamala came out of the womb. This is her now. And Bernie Sanders has now been quoted as saying, I don't know why everybody's picking on her. She's just being pragmatic. No, she's not being pragmatic. That's kind of you're almost using that word in the wrong context, which is because what she's being is a politician. She's lying her ass off.
That's exactly what Bernie Sanders said. He said, what she's doing is she's making her decisions to get elected.
Yeah.
To get elected. That's it.
But that's not being pragmatic.
No,
being pragmatic means you're being realistic and you're doing things that you have to do. That doesn't apply to politics because what she's doing is lying her ass off to get elected.
That's right. That's right.
That's the problem, CJ. Hey, we got a big election. I see a lot of Trump signs hanging around now.
I have too. I've seen a bunch of them out there, and I see people now starting to try to put together standouts. Nothing against Tommy Hodgson, but this is the worst managed campaign in Massachusetts I've ever seen. And maybe it's just because they know Republicans normally don't have a chance of winning an election in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
But, it's sad that, I haven't seen one stand up. I saw the gentleman in Somerset. He's like our Charlie Chase here in Fall River, who was standing out with a Trump sign, a Trump hat, and all of that. I haven't seen Charlie Chase out yet, but I'm sure he'll be out soon. He normally is.
Yeah, I know Charlie might be under a little under the weather. I saw Charlie up near Ocean State Job Lot on the boulevard a while back, but I haven't seen him in a while. I'm very, very surprised. I hope he's doing okay. But
yeah, I like Charlie. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
While we're talking about elections, on Tuesday, coming before the city council, is a request to make the elections commissioner a contract position. A contract position. I cannot support that. A contract position means that the elections commissioner is bound to the administration. They cannot be independent and they cannot be neutral. They've got to be independent and neutral. People already have a question about our elections. And making the elections commissioner a contract position is wrong. The elections commissioner should maintain a position as a salaried employee.
That's what politicians do, though, CJ. You know that. They took all the department heads out of civil service, except for the fire department, many years ago under the Carlton Viveris administration. I was the only one who fought it, and I stopped it. And the only department head that was not, by the way, Jeff, the reality is that this is what they want because they control them. If they want to have a paycheck and they want to have a job, they do what they're told. If they're civil service, well, they might have some. Remember Frank Manning from DPW?
Yes, I do.
He used to go in front of these in a city council and just war with them. Give them a hard time, and they couldn't get rid of him because the guy was doing a good job. But he wouldn't. But the thing is, especially in public safety, you can't have somebody under contract. It's when it comes to any department should not be. The politicians should not own department heads. Everything should be, because they kept saying, well, it's too hard to get rid of them. It's too hard, as they say. It's too hard to get rid of them. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Look up the law. Look up the law. There is a mechanism to get rid of any civil service employee. I know. I litigated under that statute. There is actually 5 sections, 41 through 45, of the law, civil service law, that gives the mechanism to terminate a civil service employee. But the problem is, you actually have to be able to terminate them for cause. They have to do something wrong. Wrong. Not politically wrong, but wrong. Like you and I have to do. We do something wrong, we suffer the consequences. Mayors want contract chiefs. Why? I told you to promote that guy. You didn't promote him, you're fired. I don't care if he deserved it or not. I don't care if the guy I told you to promote's a total asshole. You're fired. You wonder why the system's screwed up? That's it. They created a system where they control everything. And now Coogan wants more control. And as far as the elections office, we got more people working in there. It's like a circus in here now. And now he's got more. You want to read that title again? It's got more words than I ever saw. It's like a word. He's everything now. Now, it's like, remember when Janitors were called janitors, and when they wanted a pay raise, they elevated their title to sanitary engineer. $10,000 pay raise. They're engineers now. Now they give him what's that word salad that they call him now? CJ, please.
I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing it up because it's so I can't even remember it. It's so large. Mayor proposed ordinance related to personnel designating the positions of Board of Elections Commissioners, Director, Office of Elections, Chairperson, and the Veterans Agent. That's who he wants to make contract employees.
Yeah, but heaven forbid they work for the people.
Right.
Because listen, when you have a contract, you're working for the person who contracted you.
That's right.
When a contractor comes over to your house, he's working for you. You're paying him. Now, in essence, the mayor's saying he's paying them, but he's not. That's why the city council should not support this. Because the mayor's not, is Paul Coogan. Look, if Paul Coogan wants to pay them all, plus benefits, there goes his big $1 million salary that he's made over the course of his tenure as mayor. And his pension too. Let him pay for all these positions and all their benefits, their health care, their vacations, their personal days, all the other benefits. Let him pay for that. If Paul wants to pay, okay, let him do it. But even then, I wouldn't support it because they're working for the people of Fall River. They're city employees. They should be working for us. They should be always reminded that the mayor doesn't pay them. He pays them with our money. And Jeff was right about Markey. I got to go back to with Jeff's comment a little while ago. Markey is the epitome of a phony politician, because CJ and I are unfortunately old enough to remember when Ed Markey ran, and what did he run on? Term limits. And he's been up there for nearly 50 years now. That's the longest term in history.
Okay, I just got a message from a viewer. Contract, LOL, meaning laugh out loud. He just screwed up. He forgot to put Bristol County 6 and 7. He changed the places for voting, and nobody has been able to go out and vote, especially at BCC, because it was the first day of school. So no one knew about the one on Eastern Avenue either. That's St. Anthony's the Desert. Yeah. So in the city, we reward people who actually screw up. Ken Pacheco gets a $10,000 raise. Actually, it was 14. And this guy gets a contract even though he screwed up.
Yeah.
This is what happens. This is Fall River.
Turn the politicians loose. This is what you get. Chaos and more money.
That's right.
The longer the title, the higher the pay. Just give them a big title.
You know, and that's a problem I'm having because, again, he's supposed to be neutral. Okay, but we've worked with him. We have worked with him, and we know exactly what he's capable of doing. Okay? We know what he's capable of doing. We know how he finagled his way into this job. He took advantage of a dying woman, got himself in the office working, and then weaseled his way in to take over all of her responsibilities because she was too sick to do them. And people have had questions. Did she take out papers when she was getting treatment? Did she do it? I don't care. She was sick. She has personal days. She has sick time. Kelly was a wonderful woman. She was always upfront and honest with me. I can never say anything in a negative connotation with her. Plus, I don't want to speak ill of the dead. But I'm not speaking ill of the dead when I'm speaking about Ryan. People know. And for him to be rewarded with the contract is unacceptable. And for Paul to try to buy the election by the elections.
A contract. And a contract that I can guarantee will have a pay raise involved too.
Of course.
Everything Coogan does gives you a pay raise. And even the previous elections head was very, very good and neutral. Remember when we went through the recall? So
yeah, Liz was great.
Liz was great. And no relation, by the way. I'm not saying that because she's related to me because she has the same last name. So,
no, she was great.
She's not related to me at all.
Right.
But she was very, very good. And they had a short title and they had a short staff. She had one full-time and one part-time, except during the elections. And it ran when we had a lot more people showing up at elections than we do now. But now we've got it's like a three-ring circus down there. And I complained on one of the shows. Santia Desert Church, I know it well, obviously. That was my church when I was growing up, when it was on Quikasham Street, basically. But that was the church I grew up in, and now I know the place. I know how to get there. I know where they vote, but I happily, because I know the place. But there wasn't one sign on Northeastern Avenue that said that was a polling place. I drove by that thing, I don't know, 6 times that day, and I kept looking for a sign. I'm saying maybe I missed it. Maybe it's hidden behind a tree or something like that. But no, there was no sign at all. And look, it didn't matter to me because it was a primary. But I can tell you, I will be there on election day, but hopefully there'll be some signage. Why did they move these things? We know the people who vote the most are the elderly. There are a lot of elderly people now that are going to be forced to do a mail-in ballot. And you know why they do that? You can call me a conspiracy theorist. I think let me take a page from Kamala's book. I'm being a pragmatist. The reality is they can fiddle around with mail-in ballots a lot easier. They can do it when you show up at the polls and stick it in a ballot box. So I don't agree with, mail-in ballots are necessary if you have a condition that precludes you from voting. If you're in the military, you have to mail in a ballot. I know when I was in the military, you could mail in ballots. We could mail in ballots. But otherwise, you have a right to vote in this country. But you have an obligation to vote too. It's your duty as an American to be what they told you. You're the government. Our forefathers said, we're the government. They made us the government. And they said, you are the government. We the people. We are the government. It says it in our Constitution. And, it's going to be, it's our duty to, and if we abdicate that privilege that we were given, that right and privilege we were given, then we are no longer the government. And this is what's happened in our society. Career politicians have taken the government away, and they did it because we allowed them to take it away.
That's right. We give them the power to do whatever they do. And as long as we keep them in office, they're going to keep taking more and more. I got a message from the same person who told me a little bit about Ryan's errors. Ryan is close friends with the city councilor. Take a shot in the dark who? Linda Pereira. Imagine that.
Well, no. Well, we wouldn't know that, would we?
No, we wouldn't.
Because we know what he did in Linda's campaign.
Right. And the thing is that these people are taking advantage of everything. So he spent money. I want to know where the money came from to buy all the furniture, the clock, the new desk. I want to know where that money came from.
The Resolute desk.
Yeah, something like that. Um, and you know, that when he was asked, well, he wasn't. Seth Akins was asked about the $28,000 budget increase. He says, "Oh, well, that's reimbursed by the state, so it's not a big deal." Yes, it is a big deal. Yes, it is a big deal because the state doesn't give us 100% back.
And not only that, the state's paying them with our money too. We
That's
pay the
right,
state
our
money
money.
too. It's like, get out of here. It never matters. It's
No,
not your money. Yes, it is. It's always our money because these bums never pay anything. It's our money.
that's
State
right.
tax, federal tax. They don't pay. Nancy Pelosi doesn't pay for any of these programs. Neither does Chuck Schumer. They don't pay for anything.
Yet they're the same ones that scream about the tax benefits of being a millionaire. Oh, we're trying to give millionaires all these tax breaks. Those Republicans, that's all they want to do. Well, guess what? You're taking advantage of it.
Yeah. They forget to tell you that, though.
That's right.
They leave that out. And like Charlie Reese said, all they do is complain, but they're all on the same team. We'll let the Republicans be the bad guy and say they're giving the tax breaks, but we're taking them.
That's right.
I didn't see Bernie Sanders, the millionaire socialist, Elizabeth Warren, the millionaire socialist. I don't see them giving that money back, saying, oh, wait a minute, I don't want that tax break. I'll pay the big money. Yeah, not in this lifetime, pal.
That's right. Not in this lifetime, not at all. Well, I'm glad that we got some input, although it wasn't put on the screen. We got some input through our text messaging, and I really appreciate it, and I want to thank that viewer. It's nice to see that we got viewers all over the place. And again, make sure you complain a little bit to the city council about the position for the elections commissioner to be contract, because then he's owned by the mayor, and the validity of the election will always be able to be questioned. Always. We already have questions about it. I've heard about ballots not being counted. I've heard about ballots not being sent out. I heard about all the mistakes on the ballots being sent out. And we know about the fact that he made a mistake on the ballots with Ward Bristol 6 and 7. He didn't even bother putting them on the ballot. Or on the warrant, I should say. Let me get that right. On the warrant. It was on the ballots. But, I make a mistake. I made a mistake with the polling places. I made a mistake. Where's the van? Remember when he said he was going to move these out of the senior complexes? We're going to provide a van to get them to their polling place. Nobody knew how to get a van. Nobody knew how to get a van to the polling place. So we're going to reward you. We're going to reward you big time.
You mean like they did with Kenny Pacheco for letting the mold get to the point? Yeah, give him a pay raise. What did Paulie say? Oh, well, at least he admitted it. Yeah, really. He poisoned children and teachers and workers in those buildings with mold, exposed them to public health hazard, and you get a pay raise. Just like the viewer said, this is what you get. You let these people run the government by allowing them to be elected when, that's like you're letting 12% of the voters run the city. That, how ridiculous that is? 12% basically of the voters running the city. So you're getting 7,000 people telling 95,000, but we only got 55,000 registered voters. So there's 40,000 that are not eligible to vote, or they're too young to vote, or whatever. But still, when you're letting fundamentally a pittance, 88% of the people allowing these people to run the government for them, and then they complain. Oh, what happened to my tax bill? Pay attention. We told you on our first show during the Ice Age when we came on. Do your homework. Be involved. Vote. Just don't listen to the propaganda. Do your homework.
And we say it. Don't just believe us. Check us out. Check out what we have to say. You got to check out everything. You've got to fact check everything. So make sure that you do that. Don't let people bamboozle you. Don't let people bamboozle you.
Well, the election time. Oh yeah, it is. It's more than sad. It's scary because, like Teddy Roosevelt said, the reason Rome fell was because the Roman citizens stopped voting. They allowed the politicians to take over the government in Rome. And he gave a very, very famous speech. You can Google it, and Teddy Roosevelt's speech about the fall of Rome, and he basically said that was the reason when the Roman Republic stopped voting, they stopped. They were too busy watching people getting eaten by lions and killing each other, gladiators killing each other and having orgies and things like that. They were too busy being hedonistic, and they forgot about running their government.
That's right.
Give these people control of your government. All you got to do is look around. You put in a career political tick and look at this guy. He's making Biden look good. I think proportionately, he spent almost as much as Biden. If you look at our city budget versus the federal government budget, he may have, I know maybe talking ratios and proportions is a little over the head of a lot of people, but think about it. If you're spending $500 million virtually in a city of our size, it's more proportionately than they're spending on a federal level.
Could be. Could
very well be.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank y'all for watching and for your citizens' input. We're always here for you. You can always make comments, send them via text, make them on YouTube, make them on Facebook. Get us those comments. We'll put, as you see, we put them out there. Once again, I want to thank you for watching, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Wednesday. Have a great day.